Because I know there's so many different. There's like what drop shipping. There's retail arbitrage. What are the other ones? A couple of other forms. I heard drop shipping. You can make a lot of money doing that, but it's like the most toxic of all of them. Dude, like, what are the odds? I just started getting used to Facebook, and they changed Facebook. Have you guys seen Facebook? They like completely changed it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Who's talking?
It's me,
Oh,
Calvin.
it's Calvin. What's going on?
Um, I started in the beginning, mainly when
You're cutting in and out.
I did like
Your push to talk's cutting in and out on your phone.
my push to talk sucks, dude. I've never used this thing before, and now I know why.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I started with like webcams, like switches, weights, just small stuff like that until the pools like really took off. Um, just in the month and a half that I sold pools, I made like 40K. But this
Jesus.
is literally just yeah, this is literally just getting up in the morning at like 7 or 6, going to Walmart, grabbing as much as I could, and then like just waiting.
Is that 40K profit or was that your revenue?
I want to say that was my revenue. I have to look at that spreadsheet again because it's been a minute, but I'm pretty sure like, but my margins were so huge. Like I was making like 400, 500% on pools.
Yeah, I heard about the pulls, I heard about the switches. And then you told me about the heaters.
The switches were really good at first, but then like they were dropping like every other week after that. So it kind of got crowded, but even then, like if you could bundle it or something, you'd be able to make at least $100 per, depending on where you were. But yeah, the pools absolutely smashed it. Heaters are starting to pick up. Um, I mean, I guess we both live in Virginia, so it hasn't really been all that cold. But like
Yeah.
yesterday and Monday, it was pretty warm. But today it's now like in the 50s. And I had a local guy. He owns a business, a rug business. He randomly messaged me on OfferUp, and I told him I do like group pricing because that's like the other way to like kind of get people in
Yeah.
because they may not need to, but if they feel they can get a better deal, they're gonna buy to because they'll just give it to someone else or whatever. So that's another way for me to like bring more people in, without having to deal with Amazon or eBay or anything like that. Because I literally do this shit like out of my garage.
And do you ship it
Like
yourself?
I don't ship; it's all local.
Oh, you just do all
I,
local where you
yeah,
deliver to people. Okay.
yeah. I try to after like watching how eBay basically like gangbang me for the first like 4 to 5 weeks of pools
Yep.
because if you print the label through them, they're gonna add that to that bill of whatever they collect anyway. On top of that, I think I owed eBay for like my first month was like $1,700, and once I saw that, I was like, I'm not doing that shit anymore because realistically, I could just move these locally because
Yep.
the beach was closed, the pools were closed, anything community wise was closed. So people were like looking for shit for their kids.
Do you live in the Northern
Um,
Virginia area?
now I live in Virginia Beach.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, because Northern Virginia up here, dude. My mom and my sister, they put shit on OfferUp or not OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace. This shit's gone in the same day, dude. Whatever they put on there, it's gone same day.
Yeah.
Hey, so the airlines, I mean not airlines, the cruise line, ban was lifted. That's why cruises are moving.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So you
Yeah,
just started doing it, Calvin, like in the pandemic. You weren't even doing this like pre-corona.
nah. And the funny part was like I don't know if you are like on Twitter where you see like all those resale groups that they've been doing it for a while, but like, oh, we're gonna do like a fucking 5 minute drop. You can try to get in, blah 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 bullshit.
Yeah.
There was this guy on Twitter who like started his own community for reselling, and it's basically
You cut
it
out. It's
has all
basically what?
it's free and has all the same info that like the people that charge like 100, $200 Plus, a lot of that information is already recycled. So
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, like, what are you paying for?
Well, it's like stocks, right? They're all looking at the same scanners. So as soon as they see something come up on like a scan where it says like this is what it's going for on Amazon, this is what it's going for on Walmart, here's your markup, they all see the same thing.
To a degree, I would say it's a little bit different, but with the reselling shit, it's like people would act like they're the only people or the first to know something.
Yeah.
And once it gets out, it's already out there.
Yep.
But the group gets the shit either like he gets it either the same time or before, and it's free. I pay the guy the $20 for the Patreon because there's some stuff that he doesn't release to the group until like maybe a week or so later. That way the people who pay get a head start. But yeah, like I literally started, like in March.
And
And
when you
that's
buy
why
a bunch of stuff, you just throw it on credit and then you just pay it
yeah,
off when you sell it.
yeah. Because I mean that's essentially what I started doing it for. Like I get the cash back and the
Yep.
profit I can either, obviously pocket it and just repay what I borrowed, or just use that to pay down whatever like debt I had. That's what I ended up doing is paying down a lot of like the debt I had from being like an idiot college kid.
Mhm.
And now like I have like more money in the bank outside of what I lost like the last like month or so, like fucking around and not paying attention because I wish I was able to close out some of my positions
Yeah.
and but I just fell asleep one day and I fucked up.
It
but
happens.
but yeah, like now I'm like basically rebuilding that same structure of getting back to just reselling to like have that extra cash flow.
No, it's good. It's good having all your debts paid off and you can see the money in your bank account's not a negative, right? Because a lot of people they've got like fucking X amount of money in their bank account, but they've got double that on their credit cards, so they're
Yeah, no,
actually negative. Exactly.
yeah. And honestly, like I just like the idea of like strangers handing me money. Like I can meet up with a guy in an hour. Cause like the first time I did it, like a dude gave me $1,000, and I was like, "Holy shit! Like this is the real deal."
Yeah. It's
That's
all
the best
cash.
feeling ever.
It's all cash for the most part too for you because you're doing it locally.
And that's what I was saying. Like eBay's gonna send me like a tax thing because they said I sold like a shit ton. Once I realized what they were taking, I stopped selling up there, so I had to report that. But anything I do locally, I don't have to report.
Yeah.
Hey
It's
Kelvin,
literally. Go ahead.
let me ask you a question. You don't have to answer this if you don't want to answer it, but like when you were, I guess, either now or when you were at your peak of reselling, could you have lived off of that income, off the profit? Like, say that was your full-time thing, like you did nothing else, you didn't trade, you didn't work, whatever. I don't know what you do for a living, but say you did nothing but resell like you were doing at the same pace you were doing, could you live off of that?
Hell yeah.
No, I think
Like
I've seen some crazy numbers. Go ahead.
yeah, just like I said, the pools alone. Like if I wasn't such a pessimist, sometimes like there were opportunities where I could have literally gone into a store and bought out the entire store of pools, but because I was so new to it, I was unsure, so I would only buy like maybe 5 or 6 when I could have bought like the entire 20 that they had.
Yeah.
And then when the shit started to heat up, it got harder to find. But at least I was like, damn, like I should have just went all in the beginning. But again, if you don't know, you don't know. But because I think I only sold like maybe 50 or 60 pools. But imagine selling 50 or 60 pools and your revenue being 40K. Like that's not even, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Is that still your? Is
Kelvin,
that
what made you go for the pools? Like, did someone say like, "Hey, these pools are on sale," or was it just like you like thought about it?
So there's like another group I'm in, and like the guy that runs it, he basically gives out all the information and says, "Hey, like this is probably going to be the next ticket item," and he breaks it down in a way like it makes you go, that's kind of obvious, but it's like if you're not thinking about it, you'll never even think to do it.
is that still
So
your
Like, how do you
two?
find your next item? That's what I'm trying to get to. Like, how do you like tomorrow? You know what I mean? Like, how are you gonna know what to buy tomorrow and flip it? You know what I mean? If
most of
you're
them are
buying new stuff, like you're not going to garage sales and getting used stuff or like antiques or collector items. Like you're buying brand new stuff and just reselling it for a higher price, right?
Yeah, it's mostly like finding trends. And the trend seems to be like anything that's really seasonal or limited run. Like how people go crazy over Starbucks cups. It's the same idea. Like the like heaters. You have to think about even pre-pandemic, restaurants were going to need heaters regardless because they're going to have outside seating, especially with breweries. Like I
Mm-hmm.
forgot about that until like earlier this week when I started selling even more because the temperature dipped. But I was like, I need to go over there and talk to like whoever and say, hey, I have heaters if you're interested, blah blah blah, because you can't get it at Home Depot because they're sold out. You can't get it at Lowe's. You can't get it really anywhere unless you're searching online. And I try to price mine to where it's not really undercutting, but it's fair value given the whatever's going on at the moment. Because there's like if I lived up north, like tri-state area, motherfuckers were selling heaters for like $400. I'm only selling mine.
How much did you buy these heaters for?
They're like $150.
You bought them for 150, and how much you selling yours for?
So if I do like bundle pricing, if you're only getting one single, I do like 275, 265, depending on how well like the other person negotiates a deal and my willingness to sell. Because if it's slow, then I'm more willing to come down on price. But if shit is
Of
just flying,
course.
then I'll tell you that this is the price. But I'll do like if you buy two or more, I'll do it for 250. So at that point, it's
Yeah.
a 66% profit. Um, like
And you're
obviously,
making money
100%
because
over that.
everywhere else is sold. Like you're making money off of these heaters because, like, say I want to buy a heater right now, it's going to be hard for me to find a heater at a store, right?
You won't find a heater because you didn't get up earlier than I did.
Yeah, they're all sold out basically, DMA, and like they
Yeah,
go
yeah,
online and
they're
their
sold
prices are
out.
too high and they need it now.
And
Because
that's the
that
thing.
would
Like,
be really good. Like out here right now, right now it's in the 30s at night, and starting today, Chicago just closed all indoor dining.
Yep.
So a lot of places are going back to outdoor seating, and they need these heaters. So that would be perfect for over here.
yeah, like I have, I think another 10 in my garage still. Like I said, I moved a lot, like just this week alone. Because the weather just hasn't really been cooperating because it was cold, but now we're starting
See, it
to
takes
cool off.
balls. Like what you're doing, it takes balls to do what you're doing because not everybody is going to go into a store and spend a couple $1,000s on heaters that might be sitting there for the next 5 years. You know what I mean? And you're
So
limiting yourself. Like a heater, you could only sell in person. You're not going to ship a heater. So you got balls doing that. You know what I mean? You're taking on the risk of buying all that stuff.
no, no, no. But that's the thing, though. To me, there really isn't a risk because you keep the receipts for all this shit. Lowe's, Home Depot, and
Return it.
Sam's, they all, yeah, they all have like incredible return policies. Lowe's and Home Depot, I think their return policy is like 6 months. Sam's has a 1 year return policy.
The beauty about it, JMA, is you get a really good credit card that has good cash back, high limit. You load that shit up with your inventory. You try to resell it. You get the cash back. If it doesn't resell, you return it. A lot of cards you lose that cash back when you return it. But
Yeah.
if you do sell it, you still get to keep that cash back.
And that's essentially what I do. Like, I put it on the credit card, give the cash back, and whatever I may miss out for giving out bundle pricing, I'm gonna get back at cash back when I'm done with this, flip.
Yep. No, I
It's
think
not.
it'd
I mean,
be
I would love to get into it. I do it like with the Supreme stuff, but like it's not. Like something like that is a much smaller market compared to like you're doing it with like almost like everyday items type of thing. Where if you sell like a sold out T-shirt or something like that, the audience is a lot smaller.
yep.
Not everyone knows what the fuck Supreme or whatever brand is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but even with this, like, I didn't even notice that people like cared about heaters until like I went to someone's house like a year ago and they had one, and I was like, damn, like people actually do buy this shit, and it was kind of
Oh
weird.
yeah.
So now that I'm selling it, I'm like, now I kind of get it, because realistically, is 150 for a heater a good deal? Yeah, but people are willing to pay at least probably $250 for it or $300.
It's convenience. Paying
Yeah,
for the convenience.
and
Forget about the
usually,
restaurants. Like people put those heaters on their decks. Like,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like if you have a party outside or something, you have a nice big deck, you need a heater.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I just sold so I met up with this. He owns a rug store locally. Cool guy, rich guy. He messaged me and was like, hey, how much are you? What's like the lowest you'll do? And I told him, I was like, if you buy more than one, I'll do the 250. Since then, he's brought me like 6 other people that want heaters. Like I've been to his store, like he'll call me at like 9 o'clock at night, like, hey, do you have any more heaters? So I don't mind like cutting him that initial deal, knowing that I'm gonna make more on the back end because he knows way more people than I do, because other like business owners know other business owners.
Yep.
Yeah. Have you had any sales that you've lost on?
No, because if I'm gonna lose, I'll just take that shit back to the store.
That's
Like
fucking smart,
The
man.
only
I
real
had
loss is sitting in your garage basically for like a few months, right?
yeah, and even then, like when I had pools, like I remember I went to Walmart after I got off work one day. I work like I live in Virginia Beach, but I work in Hampton, and I had to call my dad to like bring his SUV to help me get pools because I literally was on. There's a website called Brickseek.
Cut out. After
If you,
Brickseek.
yeah, Brickseek like shows you store inventory, like as it's happening. So I was literally refreshing that shit all day, like hoping I could get to that store before anybody else did. And they had like 7 of the big pools or whatever that I think they were like 177 a piece. I get in there and like where they're supposed to be, they weren't there. So I was like, let me just walk around and double check. I ended up going into sporting goods and they had them like on a pallet. And a lady was there arguing about the price because they had like a sign next to it that said like $16 or some shit. Obviously, that's wrong because we both know the pool costs $177. And so she's like, I want to talk to the manager, blah blah blah. And doesn't end up getting the pool because she wants it for $16. So after she's done, I go up to the cashier at Sporting Goods and I was like, hey, I want to buy these. And she was like, oh yeah, just grab one. And I was like, no, I want to buy this entire like pallet. And I think that pallet cost me like 900, but each of those pools sold for like $700.
Jesus.
So
Kelvin, do you use any resources, or like I know you said you have a group or something like that, or like do you have any like websites, any apps, anything like that that like basically give you like a heads up on like an item that's like going for sale that you'll be able to buy and flip locally?
I would say Brickseek is probably like your best bet. I forget where you can do like on eBay, like it tells you like trending items.
Yeah, there's a
What's selling the
plugin. I
most
can't
or
remember what it's called. Somebody put it in the reselling channel, I think.
So like, what's your next item, Kelvin? Like, what are you gonna sell tomorrow that you don't have yet? What are you gonna go out next and buy and to resell?
Honestly, if I had times, I'd be out here doing Pokemon cards like everyone else, but that shit is like you have to
You gotta
basically,
invest in that.
yeah,
Buy them
you
for
have to like,
10K, sell them for 15.
yeah, well, not even that. Like earlier, like maybe like 2 or 3 months ago, if you were buying like Hidden Fates or whatever the fuck the card was called, you could have got those for pretty cheap, and people got it down to a science where like they're buying like digital scales to weigh the packs because
Yep.
holographic cards weigh more than like a regular card. So, I mean, you could open it and kind of take a chance on getting something good or not, but they're selling sealed packs for 3-4 times whatever they cost.
That's like
So
the
it's not a
same thing.
consistent thing. It's not a consistent thing then. Like you don't know what you're gonna sell tomorrow.
I mean, it's just like what I was talking about like 3 months ago, exactly what you said about the cars and stuff. Once I started seeing that it was trending, because once a show gets old or anything like that, like you gotta think about how time progresses and like how these items, just like basketball cards, baseball cards, it's the same thing with Pokemon cards right now. Everybody's looking for the 2000 ones. That's why I was going batshit crazy trying to look for all of my stuff, because like even if you go to eBay or Amazon or like all these other stuff, you can still find like different booster packs. Like people were buying bundles of like booster packs just because they know that they could resell it in 3 months, like in the Christmas holidays, for like 1,000%. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah,
could
but
buy.
the thing is, like when you're talking about Pokemon cards or you're talking about basketball cards, now you're going into the collecting category. You're going into collector like items. Like you're not
Not
talking about like the pools. You're not talking about like the heaters, like everyday type of stuff
Those
where
are
I
trending
can
items,
walk into
yeah.
Walmart.
But yeah,
Yeah, like
it's exactly what
it's two
Calvin's.
completely different things.
Yeah, but he said if he had time, because like right now that's the thing that's trending right now. Pokemon cards, you can make stupid amount just for even holding it for like 2 months, but you just like Deja said, you're gonna have to invest in it. But like people are buying, like it doesn't even matter. Like some of them are newer Pokemon cards, and people are buying like booster packs that is like bundles that are like 150, but like in 2 months, the value of that 150 is gonna turn into 450.
But you're taking on unnecessary risk, right? So Kelvin's saying he's going to these stores, he's buying heaters and pools that have a 60-day return policy. Worst case scenario, he breaks even. All he loses is the time that it took him to buy the items and return them. So that's what I'm saying. Like once you start talking about collector stuff where you're basically gambling, it's not you have risk on the table. When you're selling heaters and pools, you don't have any risk because you just return them and you lose an hour of your time.
Yeah,
But
because a lot of the guys that sell the cards, I mean, you have to. Again, it's a risk because you're either gonna open the pack to try to find something good, or you're gonna just try to sell it
exactly,
as is.
Is is
I don't fuck with the cards because to me, it's more of a hassle than it's worth. And with me working from
exactly.
home, I don't have all day to sit there at the fucking Walmart waiting for the vendor to show up, knowing that there's probably another guy he's already backdooring him to anyway. Because
Exactly.
I
but that's
luckily,
the
luckily I've been able to like get connected with a few people in different stores for them to be like, yo, we have such and such coming in on this date, like for heaters or pools or whatever. But the card thing is just a totally different ballgame because once you open it, you're basically stuck with it. So if you open enough packs, you may be able to sell like all the cards together, but you're not gonna get what you thought you were gonna get because at that point you're probably trying to sell 100, 200, 300 cards for whatever their actual value is, not what you think you should get for them.
Exactly. That, like, I mean, dude, you're talking about risk. Like, there's no one that loves to fucking take on risk more than me. Like, I love that feeling. But when you're talking about heaters and pools where you just return them to the store and you have a chance to make money, and the downs, your only risk, like I said, is losing an hour of your time, it's a no-brainer. Why would you take on the risk if you could have the other option of no risk at all? Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like what's your next item, like everyday item, not collector's items, not items you gotta, hope to get. Like the items that you're gonna wake up tomorrow morning, go into Walmart or go on Walmart.com, buy it, and then sell it on Facebook.
Well, you're still doing
Like
heaters
how
for
do
the
you
most
find
part,
those items?
aren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more or less seasonal. Like I would say maybe I don't know because I don't even know if they have them in the fucking stores anymore. But those inflatable hot tubs would be one of those things I would look out for, just because
Because the
they were
winter,
selling
you
like
know.
yeah they were selling in the summer, which I thought was weird because who the fuck is using a hot tub in the summer? But maybe it's just one of those items that kind of goes out beforehand that way because they're not gonna have them in the winter. If I wish I would have held on to some of those because I know I sold a few of those for I think I don't know probably the same 60% profit, if not double. But if that was something you could find in stores right now, because I think they cost either 248 or 348, people were paying like 500, 550 for those. And again, that's something you could easily take back to the store if it's not moving.
I'm down to do it because, well, not now because the markets are fucking nuts, right? But like when the markets get back to normal and I can just sell premium or do what I've been doing, you know what I mean? And still have some downtime, I'd be down to be doing it like on the side as a little hobby. But I wouldn't be
I
doing it
mean,
like you, like every single fucking day.
I mean, that's the thing.
See, I would do it. I would do that without it. I would have no problem like to put fucking a garage. Like I would go rent a storage unit, fucking fill it up with items, and sell it. Like I would have no problem doing it with like the everyday shit that has a return policy. Because worst case scenario, you just return it.
I literally employ my dad. Like once I started selling pools, I'd have him like that. The grocery store Aldi, they have items like that sometimes where you'd never think they would sell pools or heaters, but
Mhm.
they had pools for one day. Me and my dad fucking went up to Aldi and like cleaned them out, and all those pools got sold the same day for $300. Like a $50 pool selling for 300. I mean, you can't ask for a better return on your $50.
So here, Calvin, I'm gonna post a link here in Discord. Check out this heater at Home Depot, right? My local, well, not my local. I'm driving right now, but the Home Depot that I'm closest to right now has 20 of these things in stock. So like, if I wanted that heater, why would I not? Why would I buy it off of someone instead of buying it at Home Depot, type of thing? Like you can't buy every single store's stock. You know what I mean?
So the problem with that heater is it's not like the stand-up kind for outdoor use that does like the radiating heat thing or whatever.
But this would be a good heater for someone looking like for a heater for their deck or something like that. I know what you're talking about, the ones they have outside at restaurants, the tall ones.
Yeah, but that's what most people want at their house also. And funny enough, like that has higher BTU than the one I'm selling.
Sorry, guys, you're probably coming in for stocks and stuff. We're just chilling right now. We're all just talking about reselling. Calvin, the guy that we're talking to, he's big into reselling. He's been doing a very good job through the pandemic reselling, and it's something that me and JMA have always looked into, but we've never really done it ourselves. So we're just asking him a bunch of questions about it.
But it's more than likely out of stock as well because I tried to grab some more to. I fucking ran all over Virginia Beach trying to find that shit and I couldn't find any.
The one I just mentioned, the Hampton Bay.
Yeah.
Do you ever sell on Facebook Marketplace, or do you just use OfferUp and then what's the other thing you use?
No, I exclusively use OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace now. Just because I don't want to deal with any seller fees or anything like that.
Yeah. No,
Facebook Marketplace doesn't have seller fees.
Dude, Facebook Marketplace is insane. Like you can sell
My
you can
girlfriend
sell
sells
anything.
so much shit on there.
Oh yeah, dude, you can literally sell anything. It's ridiculous.
So there was a time like my girlfriend, she'll go to like during the summertime, she'll go to garage sales and look for new clothes with tags and shit like that and buy them to send to her family in the Philippines. So when she used to go, I would go with her, but I would look for like those collectible, like antique type of things. Like I found a Guinness lamp one time that I bought for $2. I sold it for $150. The problem with that is that, first of all, it takes a lot of time going, to a ton of garage sales. Second of all, now you have a bunch of inventory that you can't return, so you're forced to sell it or basically give it away. That's why I like what you're doing is like the whole idea of being able to return it. Like that's what turns me on to that idea. You have absolutely no risk at all.
Yeah, and like I said, it's easy because I mean, how long does it take you to honestly go in and out of the store once you've been there once or twice to know where they place the items? I wish
Exactly.
You could also slip the guy $100 who tells you when the stock's coming in. You know what I mean?
Like my dad has
Exactly.
a friend who works at one of the stores, so they'll check inventory for me all the time and tell me like, "Yo, this is coming in on this date or whatever," which helps. Because that's essentially what people were doing with pools at one point. Because I went to go pick up some pools one morning, and there was like you could tell when it was summertime what people were doing at Walmart at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
They all ran to the same aisle, not realizing that early they're either already out or they're still in the back. So I saw this guy and he just looked like he was looking for a pool and he had the inside scoop. So I just followed him and hovered and he had already talked to like one of the employees and like the employee like had him in the back and he just brought him out. So I think they only had like 3 total that came in the shipping that they got. He was like, "Yeah, man, I'm not reselling anything. I just want one for my kids or some shit." And I was like, "Well, I'm just gonna take the other two then." And at one point, I had got to a store, but I had brought the wrong car. So, but I ended up buying the pools anyway. And by the time like my dad got there and we got back, there was like a line of like angry ass people talking about if they're not here, they can't buy the pools or blah blah blah. If they have no way to transport them, but it's like again, if you want it, you're gonna have to beat me to that fucking store because I mean Walmart. I think they had they were doing like the old people, like elderly and like at like 6. I could send my dad, and then I can go to a different Walmart at 7. At that point, we've already covered 2 Walmarts. I think there's probably like 4 or 5 in my area that had stuff. I could cover that 4 or 5 in that first hour. Most people aren't willing to get up that early to even just go look.
But is there a website or whatever I was saying earlier that kind of like tells you like, hey, this item is trending? Like when these stores are getting this in, it's selling out like instantly, like letting you know that that's a hot item to buy, like that has the potential to resell. Or like I said, you're just kind of like thinking like, hey, winter's coming,
It's a
lockdowns
combination
are
of that.
coming, people are gonna need heaters, like.
It's a combination of that, of like kind of trying to front run it, but at the same time like trying to find the trends. Deja had mentioned that there was like a eBay plugin for that.
Yeah, there's a
But
couple
I
plugins I've heard about. I've never used one that like finds things that are top sellers on Amazon and shit.
yeah, I
Okay.
don't know what it is. But that's why I mainly like use that Discord for, because once he like posts whatever it is, I haven't opened that shit in weeks. I just check in and out every once in a while to see what people are selling and see if it's available near me.
What was that website you were talking about? There was like
Brickseek.
Brick something.
Brickseek.
And
Yeah,
what does that website do?
it shows you inventory, but it also shows you like I've been able to snag like TVs and sound bars for like hella cheap because it's really good at telling you what's on clearance and if it's available in your area. Because I mean, you got to think about it too. It's not every day that people are going out buying TVs and shit before new stuff comes out. So they have to get rid of it. I mean, I think I picked up like a 50-inch Vizio for my mom like a year ago using this site for like $150. And even then, like you could resell that TV for 300, and that's still like a deal for somebody else.
And they only had a few of those TVs at the store.
They'll either have like 1 or 2. I would be wary of anything that says like limited stock because usually that means like it's either a display item or they may or may not have it. But sometimes like if it's like 2 to like 4 or 3 or 4, they should have them, and you just have to ask.
Ella, you said, what do I think about a Facebook long hold? What do you mean, like holding a long right now or like a long-term position?
Great, but they retail for I think it was like 250 or 300, and they were selling them for like $60. So that's something I could say, hey, I'm selling the soundbar for 125, 150. Realistically, my lowest would probably be 100, and if I'm making $40 a soundbar, that's not terrible either. If I paid $60, because again, that's another 60%.
I'm gonna message you, Kelvin, about this. I'm curious about this all.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, it's something I
Like I said,
definitely
I
want
have
to do eventually. I want to get all that shit together. Find
I
a
have
good
no
system.
problem fucking renting a storage unit, man, and just fucking loading it up with shit, dude, and like just being organized with the receipts. Just keep them in a fucking envelope,
Yeah, that's why I thank God they do email receipts and shit like that, or I'd be fucked.
Have you ever had like a dirty look or anybody's comment to you when you're in the store buying up all the shit and they wanted one?
Of course. But literally, so yeah, like that same day I told you, was like I went to the Walmart to grab pools, and I followed that guy. When I came out with the 2 and was like getting help from one of the workers loading it up, a guy like was pulling up. He was like, "Damn, yo, is that all of them?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Well, how much will you sell to me like right now? Like, I'll give you 300 right here." And I was like, "You and I both know like street value for this isn't 300. Like, Since you're here though, like if you can come up with like another 2, I'll do 5. But because I literally was gonna go home, post that shit for like 7 or 8, and it would have been gone in like a day or 2 anyway. But since you're here and I don't have to load it up, I'll do it for 5. And he was like, "No, man, that's robbery." Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, again, that's fine, but we're not. And that's the thing. Like, I had a lady message me. It was the craziest shit ever. A lady messaged me, was like, "Hey, will you do this for 180?" And I was like, "No, ma'am. Like, that's retail, and I'm not Walmart." Like, it's like, "Well, that's what it costs in Walmart, and you're trying to upsell and blah blah blah." And I was like, "You're right. It's my right to do whatever I want with the
Yep.
shit I bought." And like we talked about earlier when you were saying about the generators, this isn't like an essential item. Like, this isn't life or death.
Yep.
She was bitching and moaning because she was like, "My kids need a pool and blah blah blah," and you're trying to take that enjoyment away from them. And granted, I don't have kids, but I kind of explained it. I was like, you may be like looking to get your kids some fun. Other people who are selling these pools are looking to get their kids food, or like
Yeah,
keep their
it's
fucking lights
essential
on.
for you to make money. Not essential for her to have her kids swimming in a pool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and when I said that to her, she was like, "You know what? I'm so sorry." She started apologizing. I don't know if she thought I was poor or some shit, but she was like, "I would love to offer you and your kids meals," and I was like, "Bitch, I'm not broke." So it was just like awkward. But I had the same thing happen the other day about the heaters. People keep messaging me saying, "I'll give you 150. I'll give you 150. This is how much it costs at Lowe's," and I'm like, "If it costs that much at Lowe's, then go get it from Lowe's." Surprise! You can't go get it from Lowe's because I have them all. So you either buy it from me or you don't get it at all, or you come up with a reasonable offer. Because again, the longer you wait, the less likely you are to get one at all.
You tell them you'll meet them at Kohl's with yours in stock.
And that's what one lady said, "These are in stock at blah blah blah. You price gouger." And I was like, "Oh word, all right." I went there 30 minutes later and bought all that shit. Thanks for the tip.
I love it. I love it.
But that's like the one thing like COVID has done for me. It's made me like way more resourceful. Because like I said, I basically took the stimulus money, bought pools, randomly saw JMA on Twitter, followed, and I think the first play I ever like did with him was the Microsoft to 200 shit. And or no, I think it was either that or Royal Caribbean to 70. And then it just kind of kept going from there to the point where like I was trading and selling and just having a fucking blast up until like a month ago when everything went to shit.
Yeah, the market is nuking.
But I would say I've probably made either the same amount or if not more reselling. Just like because I stopped reselling after the pools for a while, even though I should have been loading up on heaters because I didn't see the value at the time. But now I like see it and I'm like loading up now. But in a month and a half of selling pools, who's gonna argue with basically 20 to 30K profit?
Yeah, it's nuts.
And that's more than what I would make, in half the year before or after taxes, really. So, I commend the people that do this full time. Luckily my schedule kind of works out to where I work Sunday through Wednesday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I could just kind of do what I want. And I've been working from home. So
It lines up well with like what I'm doing, like just selling premium on options. You just sell premium, you get all your trades situated, and I'm just sitting around half the time, I'm just waiting for my shit to play out, right? So I could just go ahead and hop to some stores and buy some shit that's gonna resell for 75, 100% markup. Like that's a no-brainer.
and again, that's why I tell people like I don't like when people are trying to go after like hand sanitizer and fucking disinfectant wipes. I was like, yeah, I'm not touching any of that because that's fucked up.
Yeah,
But like
morally is
you
not
kind of
right.
like I'm not finna argue with the fucking soccer mom who's driving a Lexus GX7 470
Yeah.
complaining about she can't find a pool for a kid and how much it's gonna cost. Like, damn, you better call Frank, have him wire you $600 and keep it pushing because at the end of the day, you're gonna spend the money. Like, why argue with me about it? Yeah, is it cool if I link that Discord like in here or no?
Oh,
Or
go ahead,
just
man. They're not
okay?
competing. They're not competing with us.
Yeah,
I
it's
appreciate
totally
you
different.
asking though.
Yeah, no, I don't want to step on your
Yeah, no, you're
business, you
good.
know.
They're in a different business, so I have nothing wrong with it.
Cause yeah, like I said, it's honestly like I got in that Discord like pretty early, and now the guy has like over 5,000 members, and it's fucking nuts. Just because realistically, people leak like information all the time on Twitter about what's reselling. Like one guy basically was getting cussed out on Twitter because he took a picture with him and all his heaters, and people are like, oh, you're gonna brick it, blah blah blah. It's only gonna brick if you're trying to exclusively sell on eBay, because then you're really dealing with like absolute vultures at that point.
Yeah.
Because people are gonna undercut like crazy. Like
I like what you're doing, the local stuff, because you can kind of make your own prices, right? Because you're selling at a convenience point, right? It's not convenient for people to go on eBay and pay 100% over the market value. You know what I mean? It's convenient for them to call you and have you deliver it to their fucking house, and they feel more comfortable paying that price. You know what I mean?
yeah, like because you don't have to worry about taxes, shipping, your shit getting fucked up in the mail.
Yep.
There's so many more benefits to it. Plus, when I went to go sell to the guy that ended up hooking me up with like 6 or 7 more sales, the lady was like, yeah, like we were looking online and everyone wanted like 300, 289 was the lowest I saw. And I was like, well, you know, you found the right person. If you know more people that are looking, I have plenty. And, you know, I'm getting more because yeah, the thing about it, those people don't have time to go out to the store in the middle of the day because they're working. One, by the time you try to do it on the weekends, they've already sold. So kind of like you kind of have to go through me. And I keep like the alerts for like OfferUp and Facebook where it tells you like, oh, you know, a new heater or whatever has just been posted. That way I can see what other people are pricing theirs at and kind of just make sure like, oh, they're trying to undercut me, you know, cool, whatever. Or because like people will message you and say, hey, like, yo, raise your price up, like shit like that. But my goal isn't to do like max profit every time, it's to do like volume. Because if I'm like, I had a situation where like my friend was trying to resell and I told her, I was like, you're not going to get max profit every time because trends kind of go in like weekly like waves. Like one week is maybe the hottest shit ever. Next week it's gonna cool off, and now you're like, damn, like why is no one hitting me up for this hot tub or whatever? And that's what happened. She got stuck with a hot tub and had to take it back to the store, but she had an offer for like 480, and she's like, that's not enough. And I was like, all right. And now you're stuck with a hot tub.
Have you had to mass return anything where like you bought a shit ton of them and then they just weren't selling?
The only thing that I actually bought like a shit ton of, you know that movie Frozen?
Mm-hmm.
I bought like they had, I think Macy's had like a crazy like sale. Plus you could use discount codes. Like they had like cubic zirconium silver necklaces that were like retail. They when they initially came out, I think they're like 150, and they were selling for like $6 or something. So I just bought a shit ton of those because I mean it's $6. I could spend $75 on this
Yeah.
just to see. And no one gives a shit about Frozen unless one of those movies is out. So I ended up giving them to like my mom's neighbor's kid, and like just I don't know. I think I might have some in my trunk. But if the next movie comes out anytime soon, maybe it'll pop then. But it's not like a huge deal. And realistically, I could just give those out as gifts to like my nieces or whatever.
Yep.
But I do have a shit ton of those snow brushes
I
for
was
your car.
literally just about to say you should start looking for snow stuff because Virginia's probably gonna get some snow this winter because we didn't get any snow last winter. So it's probably gonna be pretty bad this year. Get some snow brushes and shit. It'd probably be good. The problem with that though is wouldn't it be hard to resell those? Like aren't they gonna be like every store is gonna be selling snow brushes? Like for those things to go out of stock, it's gonna be pretty rough.
Yeah, but so I actually already have some. Guess how much I paid for each item?
But probably a couple bucks.
Not even. I paid a nickel a piece.
Oh God.
So even if I sold those for $1, like I mean, I think I have like I don't know, like 60 or something. But I could sell those. I think they retail for around $8 or $9 or something like that. I could
How'd you get
just
them for so cheap? Do you know a guy or something?
no. I was walking around in Walmart one day, and it was like middle of the summer, and they
Oh,
had
yep.
like a shit ton left over. And I was like, "Fuck it!" I just picked up the whole like 2 cases they had, and I think there was like 25 pieces per box, and they were both full. So I was like, "Fuck it! I'm just gonna take these because they're a nickel a piece." Like
Oh, that's
I think
smart.
that told me
Buying winter shit in the summer and then buying summer shit in the winter and just waiting a little bit and flipping it.
because again, I mean, a nickel a piece at 25 pieces, that box cost me $1.
Yep.
All it does is take up space in my dining room. But again, if I could be somewhere and sell that shit for $5 a pop or less, I mean, that's that's a nice little gain right there. That's a nice little lunch money or going out to dinner type shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if I did it just to save myself time, I would have to do like the bigger items like you do, like the heaters and the pools and stuff. I couldn't waste my time with the small stuff. I changed the title of the stream, Huss. You see that? I mean, we picked a perfect day to talk about this because there's nothing happening with the market at all. It's literally been going sideways the entire stream. I think like I've said this before on stream, like for people who are trying to full-time trade, like full-time trading is just rough. Like if you're full-time trading, that's your only thing you're doing. But if you're trading and you have all these other hobbies, like you have an e-commerce business or you're doing FBA selling on Amazon or you're doing um what do they call it? Where you buy shit from like garage sales and like uh you remaster them. I can't think of the word. Like you've that one show where they flip
Like
shit.
refurbished.
Yeah, like flip shit at flea markets, like stuff like that. Like if you have a business like that, like tying all those little side businesses into trading works out really well, and that's why I want to, with my downtime, uh, do something like that, like FBA or some retail arbitrage. Going back to what you were saying, Johnny, about the cruise lines, CCL's getting 250,000 calls today, so people are definitely buying Carnival.
But yeah, like
Yeah, my premium's starting to move.
my best advice though is like keep it as simple as possible at first before like trying to take on like doing it on eBay or anything because again, most people forget that eBay is going to take money and PayPal is owned by eBay. So you think you're going to get like a full, I don't know, if you sell something for 500, you think you're going to get that entire amount, but only like 430 or something like that is going to hit your account because of whatever PayPal charges to like collect the money. But then you have to remember at the end of the month, eBay is going to send you a bill for that other 10%, which is actually like nuts that they take that much.
I think I'm
Um,
literally gonna do what you do, like local stuff, because I live in the tri-state area, right by DC. I've got
yeah,
plenty of
you'll
people to
be
sell
good.
to. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing, like if you were doing heaters, you'd have way better success than I would because again, you're close to an area where there's tons of people, there's tons of different restaurants, like it's just a hodgepodge of just shit going on.
Send me the exact heater that you're buying. I'm gonna see if we have it in our stores. I'll go fucking pick those things up and shit.
Yeah, because the ones I'm like that are been moving really well for me are the ones that are from Sam's Club. They have like an LED table on them.
Okay.
Um, and they're supposed to actually go on sale on the 7th, I think. So they're gonna be under whatever they already sell them for, and I could still charge the same, if not more, as it gets colder.
Isn't Sam's Club like a? I've never been there. Is that like a Costco?
Yeah, you got to know somebody with a Sam's membership, man. That's everybody has one.
I don't think I know a single person, to be honest. I think my mom's got a Costco one. I'm gonna end up being on the next episode of Hoarders. No, I would just do what Calvin does. They don't sell, take them back.
I said, like, again, like 2020 has sucked for so many reasons, but like between doing this and like learning how to trade, it's literally the most money like I've ever touched in my life.
Yeah, no, I
And
hear you.
at this point, like I have all the tools to like remain successful, like to not take shitty trades, to kind of be patient. And like if I would have bought all those heaters when I first saw them, I'd be like even better off. But even now, like who doesn't want to trickle in like an extra like $1,000 a week? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
even that's still a substantial amount versus like waiting and waiting, and then you're trying to find a heater, but you can only find one. So now you're only getting like 100, $120. I mean, every little bit counts, but yeah, to to do it in big sizes like that, very, very good.
going back to
It's
what I
reminiscent.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's reminiscent of like when we're having like, or at least when I was having trading days of like 4K or
Mm-hmm.
finishing a week like up, like huge.
Yep.
Because again, I just like the idea of like having or getting cash from anywhere, especially like having it like in your hand is different than seeing it on like the internet.
Yep. No, I gotcha. Well, like I was saying earlier, guys, on ES, if it got back above 3250 by the end of the day, that'd be pretty bullish. We only have 5 minutes left, but it's trying to close above the yesterday's low. If we're able to close above yesterday's low, it might look okay for Monday.
Also, since
Good.
I was just gonna say, I think I asked Dime. I don't know if he responded, but I was thinking about getting like some SPY 360s for like January 2021. Is that terrible?
60s.
Or-
Probably not too bad. It all depends on who wins the election, right? But you're going out to January. Yeah, see, January's a little close. Because, like I was saying, the market overall doesn't give a fuck who's president. But it's going to give a fuck in the short term. So, like, if it wants to pull back, no matter who wins, it's going to pull back in between now and January. But once a couple months have passed, the market historically doesn't care. For the most part, it perpetually goes up. So 360, what is that, an all-time high? Betting on an all-time high by January, that's probably a little close. That'd be more of a risky bet. It wouldn't be like a solid bet, you know what I mean? For more of a solid bet, you could probably go towards like May. I don't know if they have May SPY contracts, but like middle of the year, we'll probably see an all-time high by middle of the year.
Yeah, because like I was trying to, because I haven't traded in like the last like 2 or 3 weeks, honestly. Once I was done with Peloton and Carvana,
Yeah.
which Carvana took like an absolute shit today. Um, so I was trying to figure out like I have the extra money, where can I put it and kind of just leave it and forget it? Because I'm about to delete this fucking app off my phone because I'm tired of looking at Robinhood every day.
Yeah, so that's that's what I was just talking about the other day actually, is like tying up a portion of my account in like longer term options, because it's almost like you're putting it in like a savings thing. Like if you put it in something that perpetually goes up like SPY, and you're betting on going up in the future, going like to January or May with a portion of your account, it's probably not a bad idea. But it's a little risky without seeing who wins the election and kind of how the market reacts to after the election.
Yeah, I was gonna try to wait until like Tuesday just to kind of see what happens.
Yeah.
But it does. I don't know. Like it just doesn't seem like you said, it's really gonna matter after a couple of weeks or a month.
Yeah.
People are gonna overreact or whatever they're gonna do, and then after that, it's back to business.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, ES is back above 3250, so this is actually really good. If it closes up here, this looks really good for Monday. Nvidia's back above 500, thank God. That thing was nuking, getting really close to my premium. Nvidia daily looks really bad, though. Bearish TK cross and a Kumo twist on the cloud. Yeah, I want to set up, like, I want to find some good plugins, like, for the browser where I can find all that stuff that's, like, reselling or things that are trending. I know it's not going to be that easy because if it was that easy, everyone would do it, right? But start somewhere.
And it's just it takes time, honestly. Like if you have free time or can, like my dad's retired and he doesn't do shit all day, so I basically employ him to like go out to different stores and I give him my credit card and say, hey, like if they have it, buy all of them.
Yep.
And that's just kind of what the game plan is.
Nvidia and ES flying. Yeah, we're gonna be really green on the day because we made that. We could have been super fucking green, dude. If I would have held that SPY lotto, those SPY lottos paid this morning. Yeah, on a day like today, we're closing green. I'm happy. ES is flying. What do we have? Oh, that was the close. It just flew into the close. Love to see it. I'm going to start doing that like every week for you guys that like playing lottos. Like Thursday and Friday, I'll call out some lotto plays for you guys. Because basically every single one that I called out yesterday and today did very well. We used to play them a lot more back in like June and July, but we haven't been playing them too much recently because the market's too sketch. Nvidia closed at 502. Good. Yeah, strong close on Nvidia. But alright guys, I gotta end the stream. I gotta do a bunch of shit today. Gonna be leaving my house pretty soon as well. I appreciate you guys being here for the stream. I know we were talking about reselling pretty much the whole stream instead of trading, but there really wasn't much to talk about when it comes to the markets. The close on ES is really good. We closed above 3250, which was yesterday's low. If you look at the daily chart here, you can see that basically all the way down, we were not closing above the previous day's low, unless we were consolidating kind of like this. So this is a very good close. Now we need to break Thursday's high or today's high, which would be Friday's high when it comes to Monday. But on Monday, we want to break Friday's high and Thursday's high, and that will start to look really good. Because if you look back again, as Castro was saying in Discord earlier, none of these highs have been taken. Almost every single day, it's not putting in a higher high. It's putting in a lower high pretty much every single time, with the exception of this candle here. So if we start to break these highs on Monday, this will start to look really good. Okay, so keep an eye on that. Really strong close. We got election week coming up next week. Tuesday is election day. We might not know who wins on Tuesday. It might go to Friday. It might even go longer than that. But 99% of the time, we know who wins on election day. But it's 2020, man. If there was any year that we wouldn't know, it'd be this year. So keep an eye on that. But that's all I got for you guys. I will be making another video tomorrow, I think. I'm going to be very busy this weekend, so I don't know if I'll have time. But if I do have time, I'm going to make the butterfly video tomorrow. And then we'll have the summary of markets coming out on Sunday. And then I'll see you guys back on Monday for our double stream. We'll have a 9 a.m. stream and a 3 p.m. stream. So you guys have a good weekend. Happy Halloween. Stay safe out there if you guys are partying. Don't drink and drive. I'll see you guys on Monday. Peace.